I wanted to talk to you about today is the parable of the Good Samaritan. I don't talk about Christian stories a lot these days. I consider myself an agnostic, but I do still love the parables of Jesus and the stories about him. And this one is just one of my favorites. The parable of the Good Samaritan is told by Jesus in the Gospel of Luke. It is about a traveler thought to be Jewish who is stripped of clothing, beaten, and left half dead alongside the road. Now, that comes from the Bible, but in this case, I've got it from another holy book, which is the Wikipedia. But the story comes from the Bible originally. Now, a traveler understood to be Jewish, stripped of clothing, beaten, and left half dead alongside the road. Now, the next thing that comes into this is that you see a holy man comes past, the first one that goes past, let's get it right. A Jewish priest comes across the man first, and then a Levite comes past. These are both really holy people. In our modern terms, that you might say that one was a Southern Baptist in America, and the other one could be someone like a good Christian who loved George Pell. Okay? Now let's go back to the first part of the story. It said it is about a traveler who is stripped of clothing, beaten, and left half dead along the roadside. Now, recently I published the story of Silentium, the mitre that an artist created to tell the story of a beating that could have been this one, and the fact that the church at the time, he claimed, turned its back on him and his other gay friend who was so horribly beaten. They were stripped naked and all the rest of it. And the church walked on by. And so did all the students in the college when this happened. His claim is not only that, but somebody or different people pissed on the floor outside of his room every night for the rest of that year. Okay. Now, in the original story, the biblical story, that Good Samaritan's supposed to be an evil person, right? The Samaritans were they were the other side. So think of somebody you really don't like, somebody that you can't stand, a group of people. Maybe it's a religious group. Maybe it's who knows? Could be queer people, like queer people. But this person comes along and sees the person beaten and bashed and left for dead and naked. And this horrible person, the Samaritan, does something really good. And what I want to ask is, where are those people today? Where are the people who are willing to lay down their lives for others and do really good things because they're the right things to do? Please visit my podcast. If you've listened before, please keep listening. And if you can support the work we're doing to help queer refugees in Africa, who are often stripped of clothing, beaten, and left half dead alongside the road. And the church walks on by. The Levites walk on by. The holy people walk on by. We need some good old-fashioned sinners like those horrible Samaritans to help us. Please. Visit No Sex Please, I'm Religious, giggling on most podcast outlets and on YouTube too, supporting queer refugees in Africa who are struggling to survive, even stay alive.